Welcome back to the golden era of drag racing. While the cars look nostalgic with the likes of front-engine top-fuel dragsters and full-bodied gassers, under their skin, they're well-engineered, high-tech, modern-day race cars. Spectacular performances and thrilling racing are the results with a feel of 60s drag meet. The series that brings you racing you've never seen before has done it again, and it's next on Speed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield, California. It's Lucas Oil on the edge, and this week we're bringing you an awesome event courtesy of the Good Guys. It's an event that's been running for 46 years, and it's called the March Meet. Now, the sport of drag racing is very near and dear to my heart as I host the IHRA shows right here on Speed. But there are a lot of people that have dedicated their entire lives to the history of this sport, and that's where we're going to take you this week. It's going to be an awesome history lesson, and what's cool about this sport is you can still meet some of the people that were in it at the very beginning, the inception of drag racing. Now, the cars that we'll see today will have top fuel. We'll also have funny car, and we'll have the AA gassers. It's incredible stuff. They're front-engine cars, but the technology now has brought safety into it so that they can really compete and, in fact, are quicker than they were back in the 60s. We've got an awesome show coming your way. Big-time speed. My good friend Louis Bloom will be in the pits covering all the action, and with more on the technology of these cars and one very quick ride, let's go to Louis Bloom right now.
Thanks, Ken. You're looking at the quickest front-engine top-fuel dragster of all time. This is Jim Murphy's WW2 car. He has been incredible here at this race, the March Meet at Famoso Raceway, and you have to check out some of the technology in this car. It features a single magneto, it's got a very small fuel pump, a 671 root-style blower, and it runs on 12-inch tires. And this car has gone as quick as a 571. And here's the man who drives this incredible race car, the former fuel funny car racer, Jim Murphy. Jim, you love coming to the March Meet.
I love this place. It's got so much history, and it's just neat, and it's every time we come, we build memories.
What's it like driving a front-engine top-fuel car compared to, let's say, a rear-engine top-fuel dragster?
Well, visibility, number one, because we can't see in these, so you look to either side, basically keep in the center of the racetrack, and with a rear-engine dragster, you have a tremendous amount of visibility.
What about the history at the March Meet trying to tie Big Daddy Don Garland?
Kind of exciting, and it would certainly be a neat moment for my life. He's certainly a hero of everyone, mine included, and so we're doing everything we can to try and get that 5th win this weekend.
Okay, we're going to pick up top fuel in the quarterfinal round, effectively round number 2, as there were 16 qualified cars here. We should also tell you, as you look at the ladder here, that there is a break rule with the Good Guys, and the quickest loser in the previous round is inserted back into the field if, in fact, a person can't make the call. In this particular case, Rick McGee was inserted back into the field, and he'll line up alongside Scott Mason. Scott Mason started racing when he was 20 years old in 1981. He drove the first top fueler called the Utah Charger. And boom, just like that, take a look at these front-engine cars go to work. McGee is going to get the win here, though, 604, 227 miles an hour. So how about that? The man that was inserted after he had lost on a hole shot in round number 1 is now going to go to the semifinals. Next up, Mindy Fry and Howard Haight. And this is a great battle. Mindy Fry, who was born in 1969, is taking on Howard Haight, who started racing in '71. And Howard Haight is going to get the win here. 606, 224 miles an hour. Started off in top fuel back in 1971. Drove for Giant Jim Moore and James Bakey. The car was called the James Gang. It was actually formerly driven by Jim Dunn, and it was the Dunn and Reith Gilmore chassis that actually won here at the March Meet back in the late 60s. The high-speed motorsports car backing up, team car to Mindy Fry, driven by Sean Bellemure. These are 2 second-generation top fuel racers. Terry Cox, well, his father has a large name in the industry. He actually raced a car called the Cheetah 2. It was a team car with the late Gary Ormsby, who was driving the Cheetah 1, obviously. Oh, and Terry Cox strikes the tires right there. This is the 5th race on the card for Terry Cox's 30th start. And as you can see, all the smoke out of Bellamure's car over there, those guys are going to have some thrashing to do in between rounds. But Sean, very, very happy. We'll go back and have another look here to see what happened to Terry Cox. This is a combination, actually a motor combination, that his father John and John Rodak developed. In fact, a lot of the front engine cars out there use this style of engine. And because of the story that I mentioned to you before about the Cheetah 2, well, as you might imagine, Terry Cox is driving a car called the Cheetah 3. Now we'll go to Lee Jennings Sr. and Jim Murphy. Jim Murphy has a great story. He started in 1972 in Nitro Funny Car. His first car was bought from Art Whipple and Ed McCullough for $5,000. He called Keith Black and went to the Winter Nationals. Woo, baby! How about a nice drag race right there, man? That is great stuff. Take a look at those reaction times. Within 0.08 of a second of each other, 592 beats a 597. We'll go back and have another look at it because these guys were side by side. Keep in mind, the pumps on these things much smaller, about 20 gallons, versus the ones they use today at 100.
You're looking at the burnt piston of Sean Bellamore's Top Fuel dragster. Unfortunately, a lot of smoke came off the engine, but it's just one burnt piston. The team is thrashing hard to make it back to the semifinals. Sean, once again, you're going to take on Rick McGee.
You know, they're a great team over there, and we're working on it hard. We'll be okay. We got a great group of guys. Brett Johansson, crew chief, he's leading the pack, and we'll be okay. We tried something this morning, and it sort of worked, sort of didn't, but we'll be okay for the semis.
Sean, is there a time limit to get the car back in the lanes for the next round of the semis?
Yeah, usually they give us between 75 and 90 minutes, so we're thrashing hard. We'll be fine. Our guys, you know, they've done this for years, and we're able to do it in about 40 to 45 minutes. We should have this thing making noise within an hour.
Top Fuel semifinals coming your way. We're down to the final 4. Rick McGee, he's the blessed child of everybody. He actually lost in round number 1, was reinserted into the field on the brake rule, and now finds himself in the semifinals. He'll be part of this next pair alongside Sean Bellamure. Bellamure is the Good Guys VRA A-Fuel champion in 2001, 2002, and 2003, and he's also the youngest member of the Good Guys 200-mile-per-hour club. Bellamure, known for his reaction times, cuts a great light here in 037, but it looks like the car did not hang on. Keep in mind, they burned up a piston in round number 2 that we saw a little bit earlier, so that opens up the door for this guy to step in and take advantage. And how about that? Rick McGee, who had lost in round number 1, survives the next 2 rounds and now finds himself in the finals. Next up will be Jim Murphy and Howard Haight. Let's talk a little more about Jim Murphy here. His crew member is Tim Beebe of the Tim Beebe John Mulligan fame. Of course, the Fighting Irish. Of course, John Mulligan lost his life drag racing. Another crew member, Ron Rapadas, who was teamed up with Gary Ormsby in a car called the Vagabond. And look at Murphy completely sideways. Wow, what a ride for Murphy. And how about this? Howard Haight is going to the finals of the March meet. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what went wrong with Murphy. Maybe the front end just a little bit light, had a hard time steering the car. You can see him sashaying around. But while he was doing all that, it was Howard Haight who got up on the tire, runs 595, 237 with an 042 light, and claims a win. He's going to the finals. Let's check in with Lewis Bloom.
When it comes to vintage drag racing and car shows, nobody does it better than the Good Guys, and they've been doing it for 22 years, and the man who's responsible for that is Gary Metters, the founder and president of the Good Guys. Gary, you have a great event here this weekend, the March meet.
Yeah, we sure do, and you know, we're so lucky to get to do what's a passion for myself and for all these guys. I mean, the drag racing part is a real passion for a drag racer. The car show part is a real passion for the guy who's got a really slick car that he, you know, drove here and he hangs out with and he loves his car, so he gets a chance to show off. And like I say, the drag racer gets a chance to show off. It's just a really neat event that has a little bit of something for everybody.
Well, speaking of something for everybody, the fact that you can actually see Top Fuel dragsters that now go in the 570s on 12-inch tires, that is simply amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, when we started the vintage drag race program, you know, 12, 15 years ago, you know, we had 4 or 5 cars, and you know, they'd blow up every 2 or 3 times down the track and stuff. And now it's developed. These guys have become real serious about what they're doing, and the speeds they're running and the ETs they're running are just incredible. I mean, the technology they've developed, you know, it's the old style dragster with the motor in the front where it belongs. on nitro, and all that horsepower going through your legs. I mean, that's got to give you a thrill. It gives me a thrill just watching them.
There also is a place in your racing for the hobby racer who just wants to come out once in a while and have some fun with their 57 Chevy and 1963 Corvette too.
Exactly. You got to have a little something for everybody. You know, not everybody's into Top Fuel. I mean, there's a lot of guys I talk to. I say, hey, you're going to be March meeting to see the Top Fuels. Oh, no, I go to watch the A-gassers. Oh, cool, you know. Yeah, because those are cars I identify with. So there's something for everybody, you know. You see so many kids here, too. Young grandkids and older kids like myself, and we're all having a great time. There's no age limit, and there's no rules, and, you know, for the custom car guys. A lot of rules for the race car guy.
In the first round, Mike Savage took out defending Good Guys Funny Car champion Randy Walls with a very impressive 645, and because of the brake rule, Randy Walls gets back in. You have to race him a second time. Can you beat him in the second round like you did in round number one?
I don't think we'll have any problem. We're going to do this. We're going to be on our same game. Hopefully he'll be in the same run pretty close to what he ran last time, and we can probably take care of him.
It's tough racing the champion, right?
Well, I treat them all alike. Each of these guys in this class run really strong, and anybody could be a winner at any time.
Mike has got a pretty sharp-looking Dodge Challenger, but for later this season, he's got a brand-new Barracuda body, which he'll debut shortly.
Okay, you're looking at Larry Pettit in a car called the Crazy Horse, and he'll line up alongside Mike Adams in a '79 Corvette from Prescott, Arizona. Mike Adams started in 1997 in an alcohol funny car, and he won the SIFCA Rookie of the Year, which is a 750 class. He eventually sold this car, bought it back. It was originally built by Dennis Perino back in 1980, and you can see parts and pieces flying off of that one. He will coast across the finish line and get the win here. 796, 108 miles an hour. Obviously not the run he was looking for. And Larry Pettit also having some problems as well. Well, this is the pair that Louis Bloom was talking about that will race each other again. Randy Walls is a great story, a car that he built back in the 60s. One of the first cars ever in the 6s. Sold the car in 71, bought it back in 1998, found it 2,800 miles away. But he's going to struggle here. The defending champ is gone again, and Savage will move on into the finals.
AA gas at the Good Guys races features the typical Corvette, the Anglia, the 37 Ford. But how about a four-door Jerry Bickle-built Plymouth Valiant? And that car belongs to Sean Renteria. Sean, why the four-door Valiant?
Well, we started racing the A-gas car in like 1977. Bracket car at Fremont Raceway when we were young, and we've kept it, the A-gas car, the whole time, and we wanted to come out and compete in the AA supercharged class. We decided let's just make a smoother, sleeker four-door Valiant, so we built another one just a little bit faster, and it just stuck. That's just what we're about. And
also having a four-door race car, that's very unique.
Yeah, well, it gets a lot of attention. You know, a lot of people will walk up to the car and look at it, and you know, they look at it, and as they're walking away, they'll turn around and come back like a double take and then realize, hey, that thing has four door handles on it. You know, they don't even notice it right away.
Okay, here's another awesome class. It's called AA Gas. We are in the semifinals here. There's a number of people like Steve Woods, who's been around for a long time. 1961 is when he started racing, and a class called AA Gas Supercharged. He'll line up alongside John Peterson, whose career best is 682 at 203. Now, John Peterson has quite a story going here, too. He drove his car up the end of the track at Sacramento due to chute failure, and those guys had to do some extensive repairs to the body and, of course, to the car itself in just a few days. And this one's over early. John Peterson goes red by 35 thousandths of a second. What a shame. He runs 687, 199 miles an hour. It was definitely his race. You can see a lot of tire shake right there on the other side. That was Steve Woods, who had to get out of the throttle to save that car, keep it off of the wall. So Steve Woods is going to get the win here, even though he didn't have the best run. You're watching Ed Moss with his 37 Ford, the carbon fiber body and a shotgun Hemi inside of it. He got his first win in 1999 and won the championship in 2003, 2004. He'll line up alongside Sean Renteria in that beautiful 1965 Valiant. He also has a 65 A-gas Valiant and a 65 Valiant tow vehicle, a station wagon. He broke his back in 2000 at Sears Point, came back and won a championship in A-gas in 2001. As we watch Ed Moss sling a blower belt off, let's go back and have a look at that. Watch the front of that beautiful body. Just took a big hit right there, man. That's a lot of money. They'll have plenty of time to get that one fixed up and hopefully make it back to the finals. Who's going to win the March meet? Okay, let's go to our AA gas final. Ed Moss and Steve Woods. Ed Moss has a pretty important crew chief. Randy Anderson, certainly very, very well known in the industry, makes some big-time power. He'll line up alongside Steve Woods, and that beautiful car right there. Steve Woods has been racing that same car since 1963. He ran it in AA gas supercharged, double B gas, double C altered. He's won the Good Guys Championship in 98, 99, 2000, 2001. He's also held 9 ET or speed records in the NHRA, and he's about to win his first ever March meet. This guy has won pretty much everything along the way, but this one has always eluded him. And he finally claims a win here as Ed Moss could not make the call. Let's send it to the top with Louis Blumen, our winner.
Steve Woods, you come to the March meet, you've never gone past first round, and now you're the winner in AA gas supercharged. That has got to be an incredible, incredible feeling.
This is just so awesome. We've tried so hard here. This gone wrong, that's gone wrong. We finally did it.
What did you think when you saw that Ed Moss had problems, he was not going to make the run?
I thought maybe from the previous round he had broke a blower belt. I thought that may be the case, but I wasn't sure. But I certainly relaxed when I saw him roll down the track.
All right, hold on here. Here we go with the brake rule. It's going to run a couple of cars deep in the funny car final. Adams could not make the call, so it should have rolled back to Randy Walls. Walls couldn't make the call, so now it goes back to Larry Pettit. Larry Pettit will line up alongside Mike Savage. Cool story about Larry Pettit as you take a look at Savage's car right there. The actual paint job for Larry Pettit came from a combination of a couple of different cars. First of all, the Beaver Brothers and Condit L.A. Hooker car, and then Cha-Cha Muldowney, Shirley Muldowney's car. Don't call her Cha-Cha, though. Header flames coming out in the middle of the day, and how about that? Pettit's going to come up short, and Savage makes a career best run. 633, 223 miles an hour, and he had to drive back around Larry Pettit. Pettit had hurt a mag earlier and also hurt some cylinders along the way, but he stuck it out here, tried to make a run, just comes up short to Mike Savage.
For the second year, they've run the Nostalgia Funny Cars here at the March meet. Mike Savage, you won the race, and you ran 6:33 in the final. What a fantastic performance.
Awesome. I'm really excited. That's the fastest time I've run. It's about the best race you can win, and Bakersfield is really, it's a prestigious deal. I'm happy.
Winning the March meet, that's going to last probably all season, right, the joy?
Oh, yeah. That'll definitely last all season, but I'm planning on going a couple more races, a couple wins.
And you're looking at Gary Beck, tied for 8th on the all-time win list in Top Fuel with 19. The 1974 and 1983 champ, the first man that run in the 560s, 550s, 540s, and 530s, and also the first 5-second ET record holder. So an awesome person to have here, obviously, at the Good Guys March meet. We'll take a look at the ladder there, and you'll see Rick McGee has made it to the finals, and that's pretty amazing considering he lost in round number 1. But after that, he was inserted on the brake rule. He beat Mason, he beat Bellemure, and now is lined up alongside Howard Haight. Howard Haight won his first race back in 1977, the Nitro Championships at Orange County. His car owner is Butch Blair. He also won this event back in 1988 with an old Joe Motto car. And how about that? Howard Haight is going to get a win here. 602, 250 miles an hour. The man that used to campaign the Hemi Hunter, who also won 7 races in a row, and that car will get a win here. You can see the blower belt come flying off of Rick McGee's car as he has engine problems, and look at all the smoke out of Howard Haight's car. Once again, this will be Rick McGee. Watch this thing blow apart. That is what makes these front-engine cars so dangerous, but the technology that's come into the sport has made this sport much safer. You know, back in the 60s, that blower would have come back and been in the cockpit with that guy. Let's go for a ride in a front-engine fuel car. The differential sitting right between your legs. Header flames out in front of you, and boom, right there, you blow one up. Man, what a ride.
Howard Haight, you can add your name to the list of winners of the March meet. You finally get the win here. You blew it up, but it doesn't matter at this point, running 6:02 for the win in the final.
Oh, incredible, incredible. I was up thinking about this all last night. The car's been running wonderful all weekend, and it finally came true after 35 years.
Special thanks to the Good Guys and Prime Media. They were awesome people to work with. I only wish we had more time to talk about the history of these awesome racers. For Lewis Bloom, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.